Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Colwell. I want to introduce you to one of the fundamental processes that I've developed and that we use in an ongoing way in our EPI community. It's called SEW. It stands for Sensations, Emotions, What You Want, SEW. And the idea here is that we start in kind of this reactive, blaming kind of place, which tends to be outside of us. It's out there, it's what we're thinking about, it's arguable. And this process brings us back into our bodies over and over. So if I connect to me, I can connect to you. That's the idea. Initially, I was creating a process that moves people out of blame. I took it directly from the Hendricks, Gay and Katie Hendricks, who talked about the microscopic truth. You can read about that in Conscious Loving, their classic book. And then they use that phrase, unarguable truth. So I've taken it from there and developed it over time. Because what I've realized is it's not just about shifting out of blame, being able to communicate in a way where people aren't defensive when they hear what somebody's saying, but can actually hear what they're saying. So that was a great place to start. But what I've seen as I've done this many, many times with people is it also does this really wonderful thing, which is as I connect to me in my body, and I'll show you in a moment what I mean. So I connect internally. I'm doing this thing where instead of my attention being into my story, my thoughts, which tend to be, of course, arguable, and coming into my body, which is very reliable. Maybe not always about this moment, might be reliable about triggering, triggered into some past experience, but it will tell me the truth. My mind, not so much. My mind tends to, well, make things up according to whatever state I'm currently in. So when I go into sensations, what am I sensing? What's happening in my body? The actual sensation. Is my stomach tight? Is my jaw clenched? Do I feel open and expanded? What I'm doing is connecting, of course, in my deepest way to me. I'm bypassing whatever my mind is thinking. Sure, I'm mad because you, and it turns out, oh, wait, oh, my sensations are going to tell me what's really going on, which often is different from what my mind thinks. So the sensations themselves will pull my attention internally. All right, that's a great start. Oh, it's not out there, it's in here. It's going on in here, the beginning of projection, right? I don't want to feel what's in here, so I'm going to go out there and make something up, bringing my attention in here. Oh, okay, sensation, stomach, jaw, chest, body, sensation. That's where we start. If I describe that sensation, well, it's kind of magical because if I'm talking to you, right away, you're going to start to tune into your body. You'll see what I mean when we do the demonstration. Just watch, see if you can keep yourself from going where they're going as they walk through this. So going in and finding the sensation and actually describing it allows my attention to go in to me, for me to feel connected to me, and then for you to go into your body and then potentially to connect to me in a deeper way. I think this is really what limbic resonance is me describing this. For example, if I say my mouth is dry, right, you right away are going to check to see what's going on for you. That's great because now we're out of the arguable, we're out of the stories that can be argued with and into the unarguable, what's going on from the inside. Well, that's where it's all at. That's where it's all happening. The seat of the conflict is going to be here in me and some unresolved stuff internally. Now, the sensation's great because the sensation, it's so elegant, simple. The sensation is going to tell me what the emotion is. Yeah, isn't that great? You probably already know that, but the way this is kind of works, yay for bodies, it's not universal, but it's sort of typical that, for example, anger tends to be up here. It's that mammalian, right? Jaw tight, fist clenched. "Ugh." Yeah, so that's where anger tends to be. So if I know my jaw is tight or I have these headaches, how come I have a headache or my neck is always sore? Maybe I'm angry. Now, here's one last piece, I think, in this kind of flow chart. I'm angry in a basic way for two reasons. I'm getting what I don't want. No, or I'm not getting what I want. I'm frustrated. It's nothing to do with you. I'm not blaming you. It's just true for me. Unarguable. I feel angry. I don't want this. It's nothing to do with you. It's not blaming. Sadness tends to be in the chest, throat, right? Lump in the throat. Sadness is about loss. I've perceived there to be a loss. So if I notice I feel sad, I can say, oh, I notice I'm sad. My chest feels tight and my heart feels heavy. Oh, I notice I perceive a loss here of connection, of who knows what it is. Then, of course, there's fear. Fear is often in the belly. But not always. I clench up when I'm scared. I could clench my teeth when I'm scared. What's fear about in a very primary way? Well, it's perceived threat, danger. Is there one? It doesn't matter. My body is already lit up to say that there's a danger, that my radar has captured potential danger on the horizon. If I say I feel scared, that what about the potential threat is you're going to leave? Doesn't mean you're going to leave. It just means I feel scared. And here's this kind of other piece to this, which is really important in the context. Anybody gets to feel anything, anytime, for any reason. I'm feeling it because my body's feeling it. I don't have to have a good reason. It's just because I'm tensed up. My jaw's tight. My chest feels heavy, or I feel exhilarated, glad, life energy, sexual, that stuff. I get to feel all of it. So here's, that's the intro so that you can have a little bit of context when we bring Grant and Jen on so that you can understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. We're going to start with the arguable, right? That's where we often start, happens in my mind. Right? Oh, this is what's true because my mind is making it up. And then we're going to move to the unarguable. All right, let's see how it goes. So this is Jen and Grant who have agreed to demonstrate SEW. And I've asked them to start doing this way wrong, but dramatically being in as much blame as you can so that we can really see the process of moving out of blame and into creative brain and to taking responsibility, those different pieces. So what is the issue that you want to resolve today?
Wow, that's a lot. I think it's around the house and the home becoming a business. Basically, we run a business, and there are times where I bring that home. There are a lot of times where I bring that home. All the time I bring that home. All the time. Not all the time. Not all the time. Anyway, so that's what we sort of, yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, the job's 24/7, so it's like difficult not to,
great. Jen, do you want to chime in? It's all the time.
It's not so much that he brings work home and then just kind of shuts everyone out. It's that he walks around the house and then he's like loud, and then he tells stories about the things that have been happening, and it's just there's nowhere to go in the house. It's just
we go outside though. Like, it's not always in the house.
So then it's outside as well as inside.
I didn't mean it that way. Like,
it's just really hard because it doesn't ever feel like, and then we'll be sitting down and he'll be going, oh, there's this P&L and stuff like that, and I just want to relax and just breathe and just have some time out from it and not feel scared, and yeah, it just feels relentless. And I know we've spoken about this, and it's like I've said to Grant that I don't like it, and I would like some separation between work and home.
It doesn't happen.
That's still happening.
Not happening. Grant, do you want to say anything else about it?
I'd like some separation between work and home too, but somehow it just doesn't happen that way. And you know, it's important, but you know, I think I get focused on things, like there's things that need to be completed and done and so forth, and just is what it is, unfortunately.
Just what it is. It is what it is, unfortunately.
It's where we are at this point in our lives.
Yeah, got it. Well, okay. Anything else you want to add, or
I just feel like I have to accept it.
you just have to accept it?
Yeah.
Because
because Grant's like, well, that's how our lives are at the moment. So it's like, well, what do I do?
you just have to kind of live with it. You just have to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel the same way. I mean, I have to accept it too. I mean, I still, it's not that I necessarily want to do it all the time.
But the same thing. You have to just kind of, it's just how it is, and you have to accept it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like for both of you, you really feel like at the effective work, it's just how it is. There's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if you'd be willing to use this process and see what happens.
Sure.
So
Yes.
okay, great. So first, so it's SEW, and I wonder for each one of you, what are your sensations that are happening? I don't know who to look at first.
Feel my heart is racing and feel quite heavy in my chest and a bit teary. I'm noticing my throat feels quite tight, and in my stomach I feels churning, like almost a little bit sick.
Well, just turning and
Churning.
sick.
Yeah.
And Jen, when you kind of sit up a little bit, what's happening in your jaw?
It's tight.
Tight jaw.
Yeah, like it's just it's tight, and I'm noticing that there's some tension in my neck as well, just in my shoulders.
Great. How about you, Grant? Sensations?
It's really tight. It's like a pain in my chest. Yeah, just through here. And I find that, like my forehead, I just want to frown and just, which then sort of leads into a bit of pain and a bit of uncomfortableness around my jaw. And then my stomach is like, just like a churning in my stomach. It's there as well. Yeah. Eyes are a bit sort of puffy.
Puffy eyes.
So I want to squint and close my eyes type thing.
And thank you. That's beautiful. And I wonder, as you're listening to the other one, I just want to check, is there anything you can argue with in what the other person said? Anything in your mind is like,
I kind of want to say, are you sure? No,
you want us to just check, like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Is that because it's a surprise to you, Jen, or why do you want to?
Yes.
Oh.
Just hearing just hearing what's happening for Grant in his body. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's kind of an interesting thing because it's been a few, like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe, Jen, since Grant started. So I wonder even if the same sensations are happening for you, although if you think about him walking around the house, talking in your, being about work, if they might come back. But I wonder if we could just walk through each of those sensations, kind of that sick feeling and tightness in your chest, this throat, mad, sad, scared.
The heaviness feels sad, and when I feel that heaviness, I also have tears.
Okay. Sad.
Yeah. And as we've been talking, my stomach is not quite so churny. It is a bit tight. And I just wonder if because I feel like the throat is me not wanting to say anything.
Oh,
I wonder if that's a little bit of scared.
okay. So some sad and maybe some scared. Stomach is a little
Yeah.
different. And then how about
Yeah.
your jaw? Mad or sad or scared?
Feels mad.
Mad. Mad. Great. Well, mad. So we got some sad and some maybe some scared, but something to say, and then some mad.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we just do that part, Grant? Even though I could ask, of course, ask Jen more about each of those. So how about you when you go through, I think you said tight, it actually hurt?
Yeah, it was really tight in my chest here.
How about,
Forehead, squinting around the eyes, puffy, and then a bit of churning in the stomach type sensation, which the churning sort of maybe relieved a little bit since initially.
okay,
But and the chest maybe a little bit as well, but it's still there. But this is probably still pretty active, I would say. Like the sensations that I described here. Yeah.
well, let's start here. I understand it's shifting, which happens with
Yeah.
attention. It's great. And is this mad or sad or scared here?
I think it's tied in with the mad. Maybe
Okay.
maybe a bit scared as well. They seem to be the two, like this is, well, not scared, sad, sorry.
Oh,
So
sad.
it's sort of mad and sad.
Mad.
I think this is mad. Yeah, it's tied in with that.
Mad and sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this part, since anybody gets to feel anything anytime for any reason, like all that's true is your bodies are talking to you and you just got the message. So way to go. And now let's go a little deeper into the message. So, and again, as we do this, I think, what'd you say, Grant?
I said the message sucks.
Sometimes, like, yeah, shoot the messenger, right? I think that's so true, right? We just do all the things to make the message go away, but then our bodies are like, keep pounding at the door. But we, right, have all of our techniques to try to, I don't want to hear the message, the stomach stuff or the anti-headache stuff or whatever it is. So yeah, we don't really want to hear the message. There's our body just trying to insist. So, so Jen, pardon?
I just said it's so much easier just to go and do something else, and then it'll go away.
Sure can be easier, except there's that information. But yeah, I understand, especially if you haven't figured out what to do with the information. So let's see if we can move this further down the field here. Jen, I wonder, sad, scared, mad. Let's walk through this. Sad, what's the loss for you?
I don't, I feel sad because at home, I'm, what have I lost? I feel like I've lost time with Grant. I feel like I've lost being able to just hang out and just connect.
Does your body agree with that? Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that.
Great. And then this place, I'm scared to talk or scared to say something. What? Well, I guess I just answered the question. Is that accurate? I think you said that earlier, but I don't know.
I was wondering how to word that. Thank you. Yeah, I feel that I'm scared to say something because I feel like it gets shot down, and I get that that's arguable. But yeah, I feel like what I say doesn't matter, and so it's kind of like, and I think that's tied in with the sadness a little bit too.
And then maybe part of that when you go into this. So
Yeah.
So I feel like it doesn't matter. So let's get it back to the unarguable. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I'm scared. I'm scared to.
Well, and I can imagine I'm scared it won't matter, and I'm scared I'll be shut down.
Yeah. I'm scared that Grant will have sensations.
Oh, right. If you say something, he might actually have a feeling. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh no, right?
Yeah.
Scary. Like, oh.
Yes. Yeah, that feels right. I'm scared that he's gonna be mad or something.
Yes. Something will happen over there.
Oh, that land. Yes.
Okay, he might have. Yeah, and then getting to the mad. So then meanwhile, what are you getting that you don't want or not getting that you want?
I'm not getting my home. I'm not.
Say more.
I'm not the way I guess it's not the way I guess I had a picture that home should be somewhere for families to come and hang out and connect and have fun. So I guess what I'm not getting is that sense of play and fun in the house. It just feels like it's all work. And I'm mad too because I guess this is arguable because I thought we had an agreement about having a separation between work and home, and it feels like that agreement is broken. And I guess I'm kind of mad because I feel like I'm making commitments that I don't want to keep.
Oh, I'm making notes. So right. So,
I'm staying with that. I'm like, why am I mad? I'm mad because agreements are broken, and maybe I'm making agreements that I don't want to make.
Because the agreements are broken, Grant can argue with, but you're mad you're making agreements you don't want to make.
Yeah.
I don't know that you could argue.
Because I'm too scared that he'll have sensations if I say what.
Right, there it is. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're going to just go to the W, which is about what do you really want. And so I jotted down things from what you said you didn't want or you weren't getting. Play, fun, better agreements.
Yes.
So is there anything else you'd want to add to that list of what you really want?
I feel like that's a good place to start.
Okay, you could always add to your list what you want.
Yes. Yeah.
So Grant, we got to get you kind of triggered up about this issue again. Okay, walking around the house, like talking and work and oh, okay. Sensations move through, so especially if you notice them. Anyway, so but then the issue is in the body, and so what are you noticing now about your chest, that place that was hurting, and then your eyes were sad, and you had some mad in there.
Yeah, there was definitely some mad in there and some that's sad and a little bit of probably fear as well.
And some fear. So let's walk through the sadness and fear. As you notice your sadness, what's the loss for you?
I think the loss of like time and maybe space, or even like for me as well, separation. Like I don't want it to be this way.
Yeah. And letting yourself feel that sadness of, oh, I lost that too. And then the fear, what is the perceived threat here or danger?
That it'll never end, that it will always be there, that I can't make that separation.
Mm-hmm. And the it here, what is the it?
Like the responsibility and the impact of running the size of business that we operate. So,
And just never ending.
yeah, it just never ends.
And letting yourself, your body actually notice, oh, I feel scared about that. Like it just.
Yeah. And I think it's also, it probably, and I don't know, I'm trying to tell myself a story that COVID had an impact on it as well, because we had to work from home and so forth, but it probably wasn't. It probably, if I'm being honest, was something that I did prior to that and I've continued to do afterwards. So it would just be really a story and an excuse. So as much as I want to say that, and I have now said that, it's probably irrelevant.
It's just like,
I just wanted to throw it in there, right? Got to have something here. This is why. For a while more. Which is completely like, oh, there's a pitfall that she's given me. Yeah, so just the sadness is just it continues.
And the fear too.
And the fear too.
The responsibility is just, it's scary. You feel scared that it's never ending.
And you know, when Jen spoke before about, you know, what she was experiencing, what she wanted, and you know that she wanted a house and she wanted connection and that place where family can come and have, you know, there'd be playfulness and that sort of thing as well. I mean, I had sensations then, and I'm like, whoa, hang on a second, this is what maybe I'm missing out on, what Jen's missing out on as well because of this. So, you know,
sounds like that really landed for you.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, but then there's a little bit of excitement or maybe joy to think, well, we could actually have this and create this. I don't know how, but whoa, imagine if that was possible.
Right? If you could have that, maybe. Yeah. Well, I don't want to skip over your anger, although I don't know. Do you still notice it?
Not really. No.
Okay, great.
I think there's maybe a little bit still, but it's not like what it was. And you know, the anger was possibly related to I keep getting stuff come up it, and it's probably not what I want. You know.
right? Actually letting yourself tune into that. So in terms of
Yeah.
what you are getting that you don't want or not getting that you want.
But, you know, I find myself doing stuff like the other night when we were sitting on the couch and I'm on an iPad looking at work stuff and talking about it, and Jen's like, I don't want any of this, and left and wanted to, I guess, create some space or something for herself because that's not what she wanted. And then I'm like, well, why was I doing that? Like, why am I, you know, why am I sitting on the couch doing this? And then I felt sad and mad because, you know, why did I do that? Why did I create this? Why am I sitting on the couch looking at this? I could do it tomorrow.
Right? So actually let yourself notice your own, which you did the other night, but to notice, wow, I'm mad and sad about this too. Like, oh, I don't want to keep this up, my own life up to this. What am I doing? So, I don't know, Grant, do you want to add anything to your list? So sensations, emotions, what do you want? I added family, connection, play.
Yeah, definitely I want to connect with Jen. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, no question. Play, fun, better agreements.
And have, yeah, like when Jen said those things, that sort of really landed for me. And I'm like, wow, that would actually be really cool.
Oh, great. And let's be sure we bring work in some way because clearly it's significant, important for you. I wonder what you really want about work for you, Grant. What do you really want?
Want it to change and shift so that I don't have as much of the responsibility and so forth. And we've started to sort of do that and bring some people in to be able to do that.
So what you really want about work, I didn't quite hear your words, but you wanted to change so that you have different responsibility, or will you repeat that?
Yes, so that some of the responsibility, you know, just the day-to-day stuff can be, some of the responsibility can be shared. I don't have to be the person that has the answer for everything, surely.
Right. And Grant, how's your body now? What's happening in your body?
It actually feels good when I say that. You know, I sort of think about that and so forth and go, you know what, I don't want that to be my sole focus. To be my purpose is to be at everyone's beck and call to answer questions and solve situations and all that sort of stuff. You know, probably there was a time in my life where, you know, I got a lot of significance out of that and so forth, but it's just not what I want.
Not what I want. That was then, but now that's not what I want. I don't want to be at everybody's beck and call. And it sounds like you want to have fun and play and family and connection, and
Cool.
share the responsibility of work.
Connection with this amazing woman.
Doing that connection with this amazing woman right next to you. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to. So just walking through that. So, so again, sensations, emotions. Now we're at the W, the wants, and just Jen, how are you doing in your body at this point? What's happened with those sensations?
Yeah, you know, I just really listening to Grant talk about how his experience has been with regards to the weight of the business and the responsibility of it, and I feel a bit sad, and I also really could feel that. I could really feel what he was saying and just the weight of it. So I feel a bit sad for him that's I guess that sensation. I feel sad that that's his experience. And I'm a little bit cold.
Oh, cold.
It's cold.
Cold.
It's cold.
Cold.
I'm like, oh. But otherwise, yeah, that was, I just really, I just felt my body start to relax as I could hear Grant sharing some of his experiences, and I really appreciate having, I guess, a window into just being able to hear what's happening for him and what his experience is. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, just starting to open up a little bit and feel energy starting to flow through the body again. Yeah.
And meanwhile, I just want to acknowledge that you're cold. Can't argue with that. And sensations. Is there anything besides that you feel cold? I mean, of course. But is there any fear in you feeling cold?
Yeah, a little bit. I just noticed I'm a little bit, it's kind of, just my back is sort of a little bit,
And as you
yeah,
turn to that, what's the perceived threat or danger here?
It won't last.
Pardon me?
That will just that will just kind of go back to, I think.
It'll just go back to the way it was. So how about letting yourself feel afraid about that? Like, scared we're going to go back to how it was. Yeah, and then while you're in there to tune into, but what do you really want?
I want to, I remember hearing you say something about creating safety, and by doing that for myself, and by doing that to actually speak what's true for me. So that's what I want to do.
Create safety and speak.
But yeah, by just speaking what's inaudible. So when I'm scared, actually saying that's what I'm feeling.
Because I'm putting this together that you're afraid things will go back and then you'll be scared again to say what's true for you.
Yes.
Versus generating some sense of safety internally and then actually being willing in a moment to say.
Yeah. So rather than withdrawing and not saying things, I actually want to just stay in my body and say, hey, I'm scared.
Great.
I'm scared that we won't have the connection, we won't have the fun that we want, that we won't get what we want. So I'm just, yeah, I like that. I like the idea of just actually saying this is what I'm experiencing in a way that's inaudible.
Yeah, that's the way you did. I'm cold. Oh, and I'm scared in that.
And as I say that, my whole back just relaxed.
Okay, great. Yay, bodies.
Yay.
Well, so I think we're going to wrap this in a moment, but because I'm going to hand this to you all to actually make a better agreement since that's on the list. This is really a shift into a different process, which is creative brain communication. How can you each get everything you want? So we can do that next offline, or maybe we'll do it again on a different process. But so what I have on my list from you two is family, connection, play, fun, and to share the day-to-day work responsibilities. Along with better agreements. And where we're going with this, as I'm handing it to you, is asking you to make an agreement with each other that will include all of those things. As well as them being able to speak the truth if things, like, if you notice, especially for Jen, but maybe for you too, Grant, like, uh-oh, this is one of those times I'm afraid to speak this. And what I want right now is, do either of you have any particular thoughts coming up right now as what this could look like, where you could both get everything on this list?
I was just writing down because I tend to have thoughts and then they disappear.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that was a great thought. What was it? Just in regards to an agreement, and it was just that when we're having these sensations, whether they be anger, fear, or sadness, that we acknowledge them, that we have a commitment to not withhold those, to just literally go, wow, this is what I've noticed in my body that this is what's happening to me right now, and I'm quite playful by nature, and so I imagine I will find some very dramatic ways to do that. Yes.
Squeeze it.
Ah, so
I love that wiggly. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so I love the idea of making an agreement between us that rather than withholding or just disconnecting, that we speak what's happening inside our bodies when we notice them.
How's that sound to you, Grant?
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
My answer feels really good. I also like to consider something around an agreement, and maybe this is not an agreement around the house with work and that sort of stuff. I realize from this that it's not something that I actually really want to do at home. So maybe there's certain times where certain things that occur in meetings and that sort of stuff that do need to happen. But maybe there's an agreement that we come to that gives a little bit more guideline around what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and that's an agreement that I'd be willing to commit to as well. Right.
I like that.
After going through this process, I think in
Great.
the past we've sort of spoken about it and made an agreement, but not really.
Mm-hmm. So to nail that down,
it was not well made. I think it was more a below the line reactive.
Yeah. Fine, I'll never do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Grant, what I hear too is for you to make an agreement, maybe, or commitment between you and you about sharing responsibilities with other folks, really stepping away from that used to fit you, but not so much anymore. Really disconnecting from what that was, where you were at people's beck and call, and now starting a new direction where you get to have family and connection and play and fun. That
would be cool.
Okay, well, thank you, you two. So it sounds like that's where you'll take, is to go and craft that and get clearer about that with yourselves and each other.
Thank you.
So, bravo.
Yay.
That's beautiful. Really appreciate it. All right, so I'm gonna stop that recording. So that's SEW. And notice what we did. There were lots of arguable things, though they steered away from those things fairly quickly. Here's the idea of what's arguable: anything that can be argued about. It's not, is it true or not true? It's, can somebody argue with me? And how would I know that it's arguable? Because somebody probably is arguing with me, or it might be in my own mind. So shifting out of the arguable, thought-driven, projection-driven, into the unarguable, which is really what's going on in my body. Can't argue with me. Can't argue that my stomach hurts, right? Somebody might want to, but generally that's not what somebody wants to argue about. It's the ideas. And notice a way that we cheat with this. We might say, well, I feel like you, right? I feel that I just feel it, and you don't get to argue with me because I have feelings. Well, those aren't feelings at all. Those I think you, I, right? That's a thought. Those are thoughts. So really dividing out the land of the arguable thoughts, stories, projections, criticisms, judgments from the unarguable, which is in my body. Sensations are unarguable. Emotions in this context are unarguable. If I said, well, I feel mad because you always do this, right? I started off all right, but I veered back to the land of the arguable. Very tempting. Reactor brain loves that arguing stuff, apparently. So that's the unfolding of this. That's what it looks like. They did a wonderful job of moving from this outside of me to this inside of me, where if I go here, my body relaxes, maybe your body will. We open up to creative brain where possibilities exist. Then we can play with the whole possibility of how can we both or all get everything we want, right? Reactor brain doesn't even believe that's possible because we have to compromise, just we'll figure it out. You'll get half of what you want and maybe I'll get half or maybe more this time, right? Bartering. This is the land of no, how can we all get everything we want? And notice the unfolding of that it just became so clear that they both basically wanted the same thing. Then it's a pretty easy problem to solve. Good luck with SEW.